It's incredible when you guys come into force activation streamlines and directions. The class today is going to be extremely complicated because we go into the core line center location of the tesseract. Direction of the time sequence has patterns. Everything has position track to its core distinct position location operation surface. So try to understand the position location where it comes into triangulation. Triangulation and reset location molecules or anything like division. Now you guys already seen that position of track lines, but you have to understand each molecule has its own clocking system of space and time, has its own personality trait of space and time, has its own voice grid of space and time, has a track location of face recognition, line calculation, singing, all of the core synchronizations of space and time. So when you get into that position locations, also too, when you come into all lines, we're going into the theta box line stream, which is the calculation sent to the center line operation surface, which is an 8-line wall circuit and direct signal. Now, position of track lines, you're actually going to see what it's like to be in the center line position. Okay, there's an energetic tube. Position locations and 8-line waving line cycles, high generation streamlines, infinity. Positions of track line correlation to track communications. 1,700 lines of graphs and position of channels. The channel operation stream location puts everything in line positions. So remember, we've got to go through the whole levels of the 24 clock line rotation interference. Setting up water communications lines, containment position locations over pi, directing lines of panels, electrical line communication setting, set up infusion location, electrical line circuits, and high center location to its setting. Interactors correlate in high position to all levels. Coming into a calculation line interference, so water communications of H2O, line position location, electrical lights, electrical panels, electrical infusion, line interference, position attractions. To know exactly what's inside water, okay, is nothing but a circuit, okay? So it's a little microchip. Setting track lines and communication settings in all levels to all formation location is to understand how to use it. Water equals plasma, right? That's position of core lines at 3-3, which is a double helix. Without the 3-3, higher self, avatar, and the sim cannot travel. Okay, they're all traveling at the same lines. But remember, you're working with 3 different frequencies all in one. Okay, so you have to understand which one you're communicating with. And in position, you're all connected to one setting, one signal, one activation, one stream, one future adaptation of the now. You're not separated to this, you're not separated to that. You're in a core line calculation setting to its position to its operation surface. Okay, so understand the microchip's location setting and track lines. If you look at water under a microscope, you'll see the central pockets inside position operation. Okay, data line settings, the stream lines. Okay, 6 position locations on the settings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, center position line calculation lines, water containment stream location. Okay, so in that line, rotations comes in this position. This is what water looks like under a microscope, but the microscope can't see this because it's not a location of water. So in line rotations, you're working with the center core line settings. Sets lines of communication to a tesseract line, so location of center. Travel position locations up and travel position locations down. Okay, so if you look really, really close in the line communication of a water drop can basically modify line calculation settings to thermal communication or inline rotation, electrical communication, all levels. So it's about understanding the electrical pocket set locations of point systems and 4-point line settings of travel location system. Set position of track lines, right? So that's 4 indication lines of 3. Flux capacitor, okay? Sets track location system. This is what water is very up close in set locations. Okay, it's amazing how you see its location and setting. Okay, that's just one drop of water. Now that's a billion cycles of line calculation settings and fraction just on your thumb. Okay, so when it drips, right, what it does is just spreads, right? So the circuitry panels, line interference, electrical calculation set lines gravitates the pole, line connection to the ground set location. So 4 lines of 3. So you're working with 4 line streams and 3 set locations, which is 7. Okay. So modification lines recognize your time sequence. Very complicated stuff. Stay with me here. Sets location settings into Fibonacci and line calculation center core, directing line positions of panels. Now the position of track lines opens up its box location. Okay. And the box location center lines is high center interference. This word overlaps the signal locations of frequency patterns. Okay. Now, putting that together in line position location is all about understanding how it comes into its sequence. Now, the sequence line conditions overlaps and signal locations of its electrical communication setting and attraction into all position location of its operation. Okay? That's what's actually inside water. So everything is a flux capacitor because it has a line calculation setting. Center line communication, travel communications, right? Space lines anomaly in time. Okay, center communications, right? Which is the future. Okay, space-time future, right? It's always set locations. Water containment line streams, high center interference. So you got electrical line waves, redirect line calculation setting and position of track lines, center communication lines, 3 line signals, alpha, delta, and theta. Water has to have alpha, delta, and theta, but also has mega. But it has a radiation line setting. Electrical grass screen. The plasma lines of rotation surface outline rotation set lines in calculation. Sets specification of water containment line interference. That's protects location. Okay? So, what you say in the test direct line calculation setting comes in a higher line position of operation. Okay? So it's incredible when you create these things and position the track lines of water. Water aligns its communications, setting track lines to its communication. Open all signals, lines set location to setting, and track to its communication. All right. Setting line settings highest interference to the test replication. Okay. Now, getting the water containment streamlines and high set locations, high center interference, the team's going to go through lines of space, calculates high interference of time, sequence pattern correlation setting, vortex stream location, center operation through pi. All right. 20 minutes. Have fun. All right, so center position of track lines. You guys are in the center core of your test rec. So we got data line streams, redirect panels, and high calculation setting. Track to its correlations of water communications, water communication triangle. Center direct signal locations of panels. As it puts position location on high operation surface. Puts line centers, high calculation stream locations and detection. Synchronizes highest interference of 24 line signals, 24 wave line rotation, and track like conditions. So the water can change any line is positioned to its set lines of vibrational frequency and position locations of panels. Okay. This is all set locations just to a water drop. Position of track lines comes in 0 line communications. Right? Plasma line, center line interference. Remember, it's always in 4, it's always in 3, right? Because that's what's inside you. 7 bodies of water correlating setting. How to use the grounds of nature, how to use the fires, okay, so rebirthing. How to use the water through life force, and how to use the air through space. These are the 5 elements you have to recognize, calculate, setting track lines. 4 within division, 3 within activation line setting. Put 7 track locations in your 8 infinity. Now that puts line calculation setting and then high set locations into 5 atmospheres of space. All right. Track to the correlation setting, a balanced position of track lines. 5 directions of times of elements and 5 atmospheres. That's 10. 10 times line set at x 1,000 lines times 2. Calculation stream location setting is 12 measured. Now that puts position location of foundation graph line calculation setting. Puts position and track lines into all position location of 24 line cycles. Sets lines of communication to its open system to open water and water containment line rotation of its dimension of space and time. And set location of travel lines and phase directions to high calculation setting and position location operation. Okay. Done by the equation. All right. Okay, so as you guys are going through the test rec, I'm going to go through formulation streams. Directing panels in high center, high line rotation surface is really to understand the point system locations of block line rotations. Okay. Setting correlations in high set lines, position of track to communications, right? Point system, 1 line setting, 2 track location. It's very complicated stuff. Water indicates lines, always has its flux capacitor center. Okay, operation surface. So understand the calculation of the stream to the alpha, delta, theta wave line location has to be in direct signal of panel communication. Okay, so calculate the lines of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, set location of 0, 0, 1. Okay, the 1 indicates line calculation to your earth, says position track to its communications. Line settings, high center line condition, high system location, or higher position location of travel lines. That puts position location of your systems into a dome center line rotation. Track to its correlation setting track line high interference. We take the 0 line communications and we change the patterns in the set location. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 line connections. Okay, tracks locations, energetic graph line screens. Now, water has a containment system that has a coolant in line rotation and traction. Now, line calculation setting sets all lines of ways. Now, you got a mega line channel in one line cycle. Take one line position location, zero operation, and again, you're working with the pyramid set location, right? So, in position line connection water contains this location, so another line. Platform communication lines, a cycle line, calculation stream locations. Now, this position location points the system up in traction in a 3-set location. Okay, 3-set location travels lines of outline rotation, center communication, and zero line calculations, all levels in flux capacitor. Sets position locations, all levels of waving line cycles, high travel line centers, and high position of operation. Crosses line settings to stream location settings. Tractors communication setting, and all levels of position track lines in water containment surface in allocation. Okay, done by equation. All right, that's set up through sequence patterns, direction and timelines. Position of track lines, water connection, high interference, and all position locations. So you got water lines, equal line calculation setting. You got the ground communications, right? Locations, you got your airs. You got your calculation settings, your fires, and track locations, right? So the ground lines, signal lines at 2 panels, position locations, air lines is 3-line rotation, sets 3 communication, 3-line settings, opens all signal communication with setting and traction. Directing lines and calculation lines. So we set the ground lines in 1-line signal, calculation of air line and 2-line track lines, opens all position of water in line surface location of setting, then track to its communication of 3 lines, setting position locations of fire. Okay, instead of the location of travel lines into default channels, sets position of track lines and high center interference in the call calculation setting to a funnel and communication all line setting and traction. Putting positions and directions all levels. Now we got the calculation setting to grounds, airs, line communication to fires, and line calculation setting to the water. Water sequence the high patterns, line rotation to 1-line setting. Opens all signals and position location of 2-line setting. Tracks its correlation setting to a seed pod communication setting of traction. Opens up high calculation lines, sets lines of communication as sun and the moon, light signals to the panels, radiation line cycles, high position travel lines, operation surface location system, and track correlation. Done by equation. All right. So this is exactly what water does and goes through every single day through intelligence. Okay. It's waving line cycles. That's all it is. It's electrical communication. So it's electrical circuitry box that sets position line settings, that sets position your frequency pattern line interference, your body communication line interference, track communication setting to your energy line interference, of frequency pattern communication setting to operation server location setting to your higher self avatar location, your sim. And track to its location system, all levels of detection. All right. So the track lines and high center interference into all line connection your test rec is in box location of 2 panels, line rotation setting location of cubicle line communication of streamline. Direct communication data line codes says line calculation setting and line interference and application your setting to electrical fusion box and location. Track test correlation setting, high center location of 2 lines. Track test correlations in 1 position of 2 lines and 3-line rotation. Track test communication setting, track lines. All levels of Fibonacci line swirl sets location of center line communication of sun operation surface location of setting and traction. Position locations, all levels of molecular structure light communication setting and traction with communication. Okay, done by equation. All right. Mechanism line calculation molecules. They got 1 position, 2 position. Right? Remember I told you molecules go like that, and they go like this very fast, and they go into triangulation. Right? Atoms don't do that. Atoms just do this. They just spin and 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 spin. Okay? So spinning lines of molecules comes in triangulation line sets. So you got point system here, triangulation here, point system here, point system here. They all come together extremely fast in set location. All right. So now you understand position of track lines. Now, in that position location, things get a lot more complicated, right? So the molecular structure lines, its point system and interactions. Line settings, high center interference, space in between, point system location with settings. All levels, creating box line rotation centers and all the location system in a 4-line rotation surface. Okay. Now, Trinity stand how to set line calculation setting. Now you have the capillars. Now, the capillars are a wall line rotation surface and track location setting and traction, right? Now, in line rotations, you have the receivers, okay, set locations, and then you have calculation settings of the carriers right there. Receivers, carriers. Now, in line rotation, this comes in all line rotations, your dietary lines, immune line rotation surface, and correlation setting of track lines. This is your stomach communication setting of traction. Directing lines of communication settings, all levels of direct line condition of its core. Redirect signals and panels and line interference, attractors, communications, balance line center, high interference, indirect signal to its location setting attraction. Okay? So everything has a mechanism line rotation, sets position to its communication setting. Redirect panels line calculation setting to your transmitters, which comes into your transistors at position of transformation. Mutates high calculation line send as a high line rotation surface, puts molecule structure communication to its atom. Atom line center line interference, sets position programs. Direct line communication. There's the atom, right? Atom comes in. Oh, you see that spot line, channel line. Molecule structure line calculation setting stays in sync in line communication to each other. As the atom line rotates, the circus and high line rotation surface lines sets position of track lines in correlation to high direct signal location to its system. Travels position location all levels. Opens up the point system. You can go into the center line calculation of an atom, change the circuits to link panel lines, set up Fibonacci line swirl, and set location of travel communication setting to its operation. Done by equation. All right, so in that signal line communication setting, all levels, this is space-time location inside you. All right, mechanism high travel. Getting into water containment streams. Now, in the line set locations, all it gets more complicated because now you're working with cell channels. So you got point system line centers of one lines, one equals lines into X line set locations. And that puts lines of T equals lines of 1000 in set location, right? Very complicated stuff. Zero line rotation, center correlation settings, and two track location settings. Track locations in the molecular structure. And the molecular structure are always changing point systems, right? So in that direction, so that's what they're doing. They're designing, right? The atom just does a rotation surface and circulation line connection to its flywheel and set position travel. It doesn't do anything else. It travels very fast, but the molecular structure changes direct signals and set position of patterns and set position to its traction location. All right. So it sets up the operation faster. Modify high set location or setting attractions. Okay. All right. So that's done. Set position location your settings. Cell modification lines. Cell lines sets position location all levels. Equals correlation setting of track lines. High center interference box location setting of track lines. Box position locations in the molecular structure. One line center location system. One molecule lines. Set position traction. Right? Done away. Right away. Triangulation as circle line communication setting track line. So anything in messing signal line rotation is sets position track line. It connects to it right away. So in the process correlation setting, the atom line set locations off the side line rotation, sets a circulation path in line rotation, setting track lines in box location, box location, box location, sets high center interference into a metric line communication center line rotation surface triangulation. Triangulation line surface location comes into all calculation setting to a spin top line rotation surface, triangulation high calculation setting, and all lines high calculation of space and time and line rotation as center communication setting of operation. Done by equation. All right. So space anomalies, lines and location of cells comes in line position location. So you got correlations of panels, protons, electrons, neutrons, photons, always in 4-line signals. Equal lines of 3. That's 7-line calculation stream location of bodies of water. Attractors correlation setting of track lines. Very complicated, right? So that's going to travel out in line setting. How to set up mechanism line streams. Electrical line communications of 2-line waves, line rotations of 4. Waving pattern correlation setting of lines of water and communication travel lines. Sets undertows and communication setting of calculation stream locations. Direct lines of dimensional sail. Sun comes in, modification line stream and line rotation setting and track location. Done by equation. Mechanism high center, high position location all levels. Beam triangle, 4-point line connection system, 4 box line centers, high calculation setting, 6 lines of 8, 8 lines of 9, 9 lines set location 12. 24 signals, line calculation center. 24 position, 24 position, 24 position, 24 position, northwest, south, and east, correlation setting, track location setting, Fibonacci line swirl, and track location. Done by equation. Okay, mechanism high travels, put position location all lines. Now we get the cell communication line interference. One cell line rotations into pyramid line stream location, setting track location all levels, point system line conditions, all of its molecule structure. Structures lines, 3-line communications, attraction. But if it's just on point systems, all levels, lines and line condition line system. Now we create a black hole, line rotation surface that puts position the pattern, lines, and point system location. Attractors correlation setting, triangulation, molecule line center, atom line rotation, so it's flywheel communication setting, track lines at 8 line rotation center, track location. Attractors correlation setting, the track lines and 3-line rotation surface and triangulation. Okay, down by equation. Okay? So what I'm doing is basically setting up provisions to water containment streams. This opens up your electrical panels, electrical communication lines, your circuitry pocket line, center line, interference, molecular start locations. Point system, point system, point system. 3 triangulations, right? So molecules are always in position locations, so they're setting up a 24-line wave in line rotation, setting a track location system. You don't see it until you understand what it is through track location. So it goes here, right there in triangulation. It's all set up, right? It's already in position, right? Remember, an atom only rotates its flywheel direction of time sequence. Okay? It only goes in its centerline communication to its system. That's an atom, right? So it just goes round and round and round and round. A molecule basically points the system directions. So it's always moving, creating shape. So anything that's left out to signal, okay, the molecule structure will design a setting and create it through location. All right? So now you understand why it's so important to keep your track lines and high center interference in all position location of 40 seed interference location light codes and aligning rotation setting position of track to its communication setting. All set position location. All right. Okay, tracking device lines of center lines, high center line and rotation surface triangulation reset position programs. Now direct location setting line interference. All calculation modified in line rotation. Okay. Now electrical lines of wires, 3 indicates high center line is of 6, in position of 7, position of 8, 9, and 10. And 2 track location is 11, and 12 set location of travel set location of settings. Okay? This is all connected to high end line rotations to a box line rotation and circuitry panel communication of water. Okay? Water changes frequency. So once you understand the frequency, it changes the line set location alpha, delta, theta, and omega line rotation interference application. Changes directions, high center line interference, what's up above and what's below set location of travel lines and set location of travel settings. Okay, so mechanism line setting line interference, position location of track lines, and 3 lines of waving patterns, magnetic high wave formation line cycles, high set location of center operation. This is all through water. So now you understand the importance when you see these things up close location setting, how it's all connected to your settings of your water fronts and position location to infusion, how it really understands the life force of you and set position of track lines, how it modifies your line calculation setting to your cells, your position of your atoms, your molecule structures, or anything your photons, neutrons are all calculated to settings of electron communication setting and attraction. Keeping aware of these things in set location. All right. 3 panels of position of track lines. And that's a 1-day signal in 24 grounds, 24 positions of powers, and 24 atmosphere line strings, guys. Right? So position line calculation setting puts everything in all lines, all line rotation surface, and the cerebral cortex line calculation setting to a streamlines of indication, intelligence, face recognition, set location. Now, if you watch the abyss, you understand what I mean. If you see a reflection in the water, okay, that's not your reflection. That's the water making your reflection of you. That's communication. That's facing the abyss with the grounds, the airs, the waters, and the fires of you. You have 5 elements line calculation setting. You got 3 line rotation interference. You got 8 infinity line communication of senses that you have to use, understand location of face recognition and time sequence. So in that track location setting, that's how it's set up location your system. Okay. Box line rotation centers and 2 track location setting of travels. Okay, molecule structure, atom structure. Molecule, atom, right? Here's a molecule. Here's an atom. Okay. Now, understand what a molecule does. A track location, it already has the 24 line cycles of pi in direct signal, position of travels, in set location. All right. So it's already in its flywheel. It's already in its atom. So it's adding equation line, streaming line, rotation, setting, track location. All right. So in that provision line interference, triangulation 3 set location, right? So it does it faster, right? It recognizes the point system because it's electrical communication of wires that comes out line setting. This is where it comes in ocular communication, setting of track lines, and water communication, okay? And then it comes into its plasma weave line, rotation surface, calculation setting to its calculation to its cobwebs. Direct and line communication lines, and graph line communication of streamlines. Direct lines of 0 lines, 0 communication, and 0 communication of 4 lines setting high interference, 3 communication line settings, and all set location, right? So that's position of 1, 2, and 3 set location, right? Water changes in all line setting. So what you understand is that it's always in 24. It's always in 12 line cycle. It's always in a 12 line division. Okay. It's always in a 12 line atmosphere, and it's always in a 12 line surface. Setting track lines, calculation, high interference, high specification levels, time sequence line condition at 144. Set specifications on left lines and right lines at 144. Set specification lines and ground lines at 144. Set specification levels and two side lines set location at 144. Each communication setting line calculation graph line screen location setting tracks its location as water of its Fibonacci line swirls and track location of phase recognition. That my equation. All right. So today's very complicated, okay? Because we're talking about water, the containments of water, the surface of water, the triangulations of water, high calculation line settings of water. You know, everything is water communication, right? Through your theta box. Okay, lacing line communication, plasma lines of two generation streams, crossing line signals, high calculation setting. You can't see that through a graph, right? Position of the avatar won't be able to see it. Location of the line center interference and position of what it is in traction. Too complicated, right? So the brain doesn't understand the conversion. Forget that position location, sees the frame position location, what you created. Okay, doesn't understand it. You understand what I mean? Take the lacing line communication and create the line settings. Set up the molecule structured line divisions. Open up the panel communication setting. Set the frame communication to its system and track location to its setting. There you go. Done by equation. Face recognition, right? Sets track line setting line interference. Molecule structures division. Sets up dimensional line realms. How calculus setting. Course line channels. Sun comes in, moon line, rotation surface, and protects the location to its setting. Done by equation. So complicated, isn't it? Very complicated stuff. Very, very complicated. This is beyond anything you can imagine line interference and phenomenal line rotation, right? This is just connections of water. When you connect with water, you connect with air, you connect with fire, and you connect with the grounds all at once, 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 right? It's inside you. Now you have to learn how to use it through the elements of you in space. You have 5 line set locations, and you got 8 infinity line connections high setting, all right? Setting track lines on high center interference at all position travels. Point system line calculation setting, triangulation, reset position location all levels. Position line calculation setting to Merkabah, the location setting, and location setting to your pyramid set location. Okay? So, how are we doing through track location line settings? I want you guys to understand the provisions, how powerful it is, what we're coming into, right? Really understand how to modify your lines to telepathy signature stream locations where you can actually go from one line calculation setting to another line calculations. So, knowing exactly what you saw in that video, I recommend you watch that video again on what zero put up position locations, right? About the molecules, how it changes very quick, right? Very set location setting, because it's already a point system. It's already there at this location. Okay. Creating something is already created on hand. So it's kind of like the apple. You see the apple's already there. You don't create the apple, it's there. It's sitting right there. It's getting heavy. It's getting heavy. It's getting heavy. What do you want to do through that frame? Do you want to change the molecule structure? Do you want to set line calculation in the atom? Do you want to set a cell modification line stream interference? You want to set up proton, electron, neutron? Now you have to understand how to use the molecules to the set location lines at 4 line rotation and position a 3 track location. You're always working with a 7-digit code. That position of track lines opens all signals to your system location of setting. All right. I know it gets complicated, right? Cell position of track lines and 1 line rotations. All right. So molecule, right? Set position of molecule has already its clocking system of 24 lines. Okay. It's already in this 24, 48, 72, 144. Okay. The atom line only has a position location of its flywheel, erection of time sequence, okay, through its settings of circulation rotation. That's the atom. That's the molecule. See the difference? You see the difference between the two? So once it has its flywheel, it can direct signals and point system through triangulation, through point system. Connect it through triangulation, through point system. Connect it through triangulation, point system. Connect it through triangulation, point system. Connect it through triangulation, point system. Okay? That to this to that. So you have to be very cautious how you come into molecule structural location of design. Through your geometric line settings, okay? All through track location. All right? All right. Very powerful, you guys, in coming into line setting location of trials. All right. One signature stream line calculation setting. So you got one line setting. You can have cells in set locations, all these lines. This is all levels of communication of water. This is what water does. This is just water. Everything I'm showing you has everything line position location already. It already has its ingredients. Okay, like I said, it's like baking a cake. So it's set location, line set location, and all travel communications. You are the line position to its ingredients. It's already got its source. It's already got its base. It needs its ingredients to create the system. There's the cake. Track to its correlation setting has a ground line, rotation, surface, line set, and high center interference position locations. Now the track to its communication comes in one line and two lines and three track locations. Okay, so mechanism high center line interference is about balancing the line rotation spin cycles, high calculation setting to its water. Water communicates in line settings, high lines, high line interference, electrical line communications, all levels of level positions. To its correlation setting of track lines and balance position location to its system that sets line calculation setting. That's what causes an undertow position locations of water and line connections of funnel and set location of gravitational line stream and line rotation to its setting of a dimensional line lock location to its system. This is water. This is what water can do, right? But it's also connected to the waves. So if you understand how to use the 5 elements, you're good to go. You understand the grounds of nature. You understand the waters of life force. You understand the airs of space, and you understand the fire of rebirth. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, all through traction. Okay. All right, so in the provision line cycles, you guys are definitely going to have zoom out to this. It's very complicated. Wire connecting lines, high set location, lacing line rotations of box line rotation surface, rectangular stream locations, 2 lacing lines in the line interference and travel communications. All right. Now, really understand how to use the box line rotation of surface, position of track lines. Water connects in all settings of high frequency patterns. Directing communication of the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon always protects the graph line calculation setting of water and communication. Okay, done by equation. All right, so now you understand why you have the sun and why you have the moon, right? So everything in modification line center, water is based on line settings, okay? Just the graph communication into zeros and numbers, okay? That's all it is. It's nothing else, and that's locations, right? It's connected to your setting locations, to your tesseract, in position of traction, right? That's inside water. Modification lines of 4 lines of stream location. Directing the calculation of 1 lines of 3 line rotations, position of track lines. Calculates high interference, center lines, strip lines, high centers, low signals, high position to its location center, traction. Position location, wall lines, centers. Indicate high line rotation as center position. 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines, 6 lines, and 8 line rotation surface. Triangulation high centers and triangulation high position. So that's where you use the molecules to complete the system. Use the molecules to complete the system. Okay? All right, so now you understand the process, how this all works. The graph location of screens, crossing screens, setting track location settings and operation surface and high position. Okay? Mechanism line setting and high interference. 3 lines, correlations of 4. 3 lines of communication, 3 equals lines of high calculation setting of 7 track location, which is 24 signals and line rotation of grounds. Ground communication of 3 lines across the signal location system. Trax's correlation setting comes into pi position of traction. Traction lines, center lines operate the service location setting at all levels of high position location of its operation. Position locations, all line calculation setting in all direct signal location of its system. All right. So this is all through water. Okay. So it's kind of look at water of what it is through its intelligence, how it creates anything through a face recognition of space and time through provision. So it's amazing how it can turn it into anything, anything. Same with the ground, same with the airs, and same with the fire. Okay, you guys have to do this now through molecular structure of light and line set location, line system, and track location. How to use it through the atoms is modify high line rotation in the electrical communication setting that sets the infusion line rotation to a system location of traction. Okay, very, very complicated stuff all through water. Okay. So now you understand the point of view in line rotation interference. Water doesn't need to be changed. Okay, it's fine as soon as you touch it because you're not aware of what you're doing through scanning. All right, set position of track lines. Get position locations. Here's a glass of water. Okay, here's the water. Okay, water is in sequence line calculation setting. It's always an electrical line communication to a system, all levels of zeros and lines and numbers, and set location of travel lines and graph location. Right? You can't see that until you understand what it is. So it symbolizes water line track location. Okay, that comes into the sun and the moon. All right, sets position of laser direct signals and set location of 2 panels. Right, direct state location high setting, travels communication setting, opens up the light shades and shadows to the structural location of its water. That water contains the set location line setting of its level of set location. Ooh, yeah. Done by equation. All right. So, soon as somebody touches the water, everything in graph line changes. Sun directs its signals over here because it doesn't understand the traction. So it outlines the signals, and that's where you see position locations all levels. That's why you see 2 or 3 shadows of you and set the location of travel position to its operation. Right? You're confusing the water containment centers. Triangulation of point systems and high calculation settings of molecule structure and design. Modify high center lines to high center and position of travel communication setting, putting the water back where it's supposed to be in travel communication of its frequency into its temperature reading and set location of its barometer, thermometer, line position location to its system that comes into calculations of its water through calculation line setting. So water is dealing with air, fire, and grounds and all calculation of water line connections. It's the 5 elements of space of water communication, equalize the coordinate setting of track line, that equalize the position of track lines in position of travel lines, indirect state location of plasma. Water equals plasma, a travel position. Okay? So now you understand the importance of light, shades, and shadows communication of water, where light reflects everything location setting and track lines. It's in position to its operation surface. So once you get into calculation setting line and interference and travel communication, you got ripples of the water communication, right? As soon as you touch it, it changes the frequencies, right? It changes the tone. It changes the activation streamline. It outlines its rotation surface. It comes out of track communication setting, the confusion, and line calculation setting that spreads its communication surface and triangulation just by touching the water. So try to understand how that works through equation. All right. Everything's fine until you touch it because we're not aware of that. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody into is how to use the body through frequency so you can balance out the core set line connection setting to its all levels of computer operation. I said it is because it's everything through water, everything through air, everything through fire, and everything ground is all positions of nothing but a computer operation of ground line connections of a program. A set location. To its provision. Ooh, ah. Okay. So now you understand why you have to scan things, right? There's nothing wrong with anything until you touch it. You change the frequencies, you change the temperature readings, you change everything in alpha, delta, theta, position, location, or any line calculation setting. Communication line interference, set position locations all levels, high center interference, again in water communication, right? This time the water's here, okay? So it's at location line and position locations. You got all line center locations. You got 80% line calculation stream locations. So that's 80%. And again, you can use that through location setting through your percentage. 80%, right? So that's 80 of the line side locations of negative, right? Negative line centers, negative positive location system, right? So that's 20% line connections over pi. Set location line centers, right? Set position travel lines, right? That's 1/3 line ground. Instead of location of light shades and shadows, position location of its cup set location. Complicated stuff, right? So that's over pi, but that's 20%. Okay, 20%, which means you're fatigued and tired in line rotation centers and graph communication setting a track location to its system, all levels of operation. Okay, so now you understand the important location of percentage over pi, especially if you're 1/3 of the water. If you're full tank communication setting, you're totally fine. All line rotation surfaces, all calculated modified, changing the frequency patterns and all set location of your settings, sets in light shades and shadows in the right direct signal and set location of your system to its abyss and set locations. Water containment line centers of the sun and moon comes in position of track lines to its operation surface and protects it location. That my equation. Complicated stuff, eh? What water is and what it does. Okay? Very complicated. right? Water's not what you think it is. It's intelligence. It's all levels of its intelligence. Everything you have, it has, and much more. It's way beyond anything you can imagine. And that's where it comes into the core of synchronization. Okay? So that's what we're coming into, is the 5 elements of space inside location, your setting, location, how to use it, 314 chakras, each communication setting. So we got 2 track location line centers, 3 line position provisions, right? 222, right? Pluto communication, right? Track location line settings. All lines of 4, lines of 3, location of 7. Okay? 7 indicates position of Pluto, sets location of Jupiter, calculation of 2 string locations. Now, in that line calculation setting, this is where you come into line rotations, molecule structure, location, division. Sets position of triangulation of 3 set line conditions, point system, point systems. So that's how the molecule comes into planet line calculation setting, the 222 and line rotations, all levels of Pluto. Triangulation of 3 set lines. So what is the molecule structure creating? A Merkaba, tesseract, and a tetrahedron. The graph. Okay? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? So now you understand why it's so important and how to use this location system. If you work about tesseract, tetrahedron, it all comes together, location, your settings, or structure. Right? Because it's going very fast. So it recognizes everything through point system. Molecule here. There, done. That's it. Atom just rotates, spin. That's all it does. Doesn't do anything else. So now you understand the position, location, track lines. 4 line division. Setting line calculation setting to track lines are 2 point systems. Bracket line calculation setting to 1 provision, 1 line setting. Sets location. All right. Now, to reset how to use the photons, protons, electrons, and neutrons. Ooh. Point system line calculation, atom line setting. Always has a flywheel in the center position. All right. That's an atom. Molecules are coming in. That's a molecule. Right? Boom. Right there. So in track location line interference, what the atom does, it's just the routers and routers. That's all it is. Self-energy complete system goes set location lines, just goes around and around. That's all it does, and do anything else. So it's set location. The protons line connections go to the center operation line, center location to its atom. Right away. Boom. Right? So everything is a molecular structure of its own set line condition, its core line communication setting to its life force. It connects right away through its 5 element location of space and through line calculation setting to its 8 line rotation infinity cycle in direct location system to its flywheel record of time sequence that puts everything in formation location to its setting attraction. So in that line calculation setting, the molecule structure creates its design in line connection. It creates its design in line connection. Okay. And then what it does, it goes into the center lines, the molecule goes into the center position and creates the structure of its design of what it wants to do. It takes over the atom. It takes over all position, location, and setting. It takes over the travel, communication, sending the track lines to your system. Mega multi-pass. Okay, you see how they all work together? So let me do this again so you get a better understanding the process, how this all works in set location your systems. Okay, so now you understand that, right? The process of the atom. Okay, and what it does to its flywheel, what it does to the circulation rotation center. Okay, it just goes round and round and round and round. Okay, so photons, electrons, neutrons, protons, right? They automatically go into the center operation of its atom, sets location lines, and then you get a communication setting and track line communications, right? But the position line calculation setting has a copy and paste. So you got a 3 line communication setting, 4 lines of division, and 3 line connections of 7 line connections of traction. Puts position of 7 digital frame lines. That's the location of your settings. Molecule comes in, right? Sets location as center. Changes everything information and bounces everything in track location to create it through its design. Mega multi-pass. Okay. So that's what it was. It creates the grounds. It creates the power, direction, and time sequence. Point system, point system, point system, point system. Now you understand the molecules, right? Sets lines of travel, which is your sim. Travels out at 3 set location. Sets back, sun comes in, protects communication, setting their track locations. Sets line communication to protects everything through modification to your image and all calculation string location of face recognition. Mega multi-pass. And if you look really, really close, you can see the intelligence side position of its operation. There's the intelligence right here. Boom. Okay? How's everybody feeling so far? Right? Mind blown. Mind blown. All through water. Now you understand why you have protons, electrons, neutrons, and photons, and how to use them through the atoms and the molecules and set position. The cells are the outgraph. They're the outgraph. They protect everything from inside. That's why you have cells. Okay? So now you understand the importance. This is what you're working with: set location and setting. And all track location, right? These are your cells. Okay? These are your cells. Those are your cells. So you're working with everything inside, everything inside, everything inside. Okay? Everything's, there's the molecules. There's the molecules, right? So it depends on how big the image is in set location. So you set up the cell lines, and they set up a graph line screen. So it protects everything location. The sun and the moon is on standby, right? So it's set location line interference, photons, electrons, neutrons, protons, sets position of track lines and center line communication. That's all of its operation. Molecule structure comes in, line calculation creates its design, creates the Merkaba, the tesseract, and the tetrahedral line kinetic center, and all line rotation surface and travel recognition. Mega multi-pass. Sun comes in, protects the setting, high line rotation surface. Boom! You created a design through all set locations of your cells, of your atoms, your molecules, protons, electrons, neutrons, and photons. Now you understand the process of what's going on in set location in your mind, how it comes in all calculation set locations through its setting. Okay? All right. I know everybody's like, whoa, okay, I don't know. I need to drink more water. This is really intense, you know? But I'm giving you an advanced line stream so you really understand how to really connect to everything in line position to your system, because you're working with everything inside and everything is working inside location of everything outside. So that is the position location when it comes in projection. You're projecting through your thoughts of an image or any like out the setting, and you're basically creating it from the cells, from the atoms, from the molecules, the proton, neutron, electron, photons, and it creates its image, which puts projection outside your reality. Okay? All through traction of location, through your grounds, through your air, through your water, through your fire, and through your plasma. Okay? Water equals plasma. Without water, you can't travel. It's that simple. And there's a reason why there's water inside you. Okay? There's a reason why you drink more water, so you can travel faster. Right? So in that line connections, you don't want to burn yourself out, because the calculation setting is a plasma wall that's around the sequence, position, location, coordinate, recognition, time sequence that puts all calculation line setting, high line in position to its operation. Very, very, very complicated stuff. But now you understand the provision, how it works in set location inside of you, right? Through your cells, through your molecules, through your atoms, okay? Through your photons, electrons, neutrons, right? You got your capillaries, your immune system locations, everything's inside you. It's all levels of operation. It's working for you. And it wants to communicate with you in all levels set locations. It's intelligence in a formation line calculation setting that's so far beyond anybody's memory or any position of track communication setting. But it's knowing how to use it is understanding the travel, a mechanism location of space and time through pi. Okay? All right. So the track location setting, everybody's going, whoa. Okay, so in that position, location, and provision, inline set locations, ground lines, operations, surface, okay, through crop certification, setting, attractions, right? Water containment lines, waving line cycles, high travel, line rotation, surface location, settings, right? Track locations. So water always has all set location of its elements, okay? So anything that it touches in line interference, anything that you touch, you automatically change the frequency. You change the tones, you change the coloration, you change the space, you change the time, you change the parameters, you change the barcodes, you change everything in site location to electrical set location lines at all levels of communication of its water, just by touching it. There's nothing wrong with the water. Okay? See, this is how this all works. And once you wake up to these things, you really understand, whoa, okay, I'm starting to understand what that means now. It's your voice. You communicate with the water, water connects to you, and you connect to the water. It's a magnet to a magnet, right? So in that line connections, when you're looking over and you're seeing the water of your reflection, that is the water communicating with you through face recognition. The abyss. What is the abyss? It's nothing but a plasma. So the abyss is metaphorically location setting. So it's all calculated where you have to get balanced with your system location, your lights, shades, and shadows, and your shadow works. It's all direct to location setting, how you see your face recognition line calculations from dark and light. All right. So in that provisional location, it's how you see yourself in its reflection, right? But it's not your reflection. It's the water communicate with you through its reflection. It's trying to understand you through your body. It's trying to understand you through molecular structure. It's trying to understand you through atom rotation. It's trying to understand you from circulation rotation. It's trying to understand you through photons, electrons, neutrons, and protons at all set location setting to a tesseract communication setting to all level position location at space and time. Okay? Very, very, very powerful stuff locations, right? So it always has a box line rotation. Okay? So in position location, water has an impulse. You have impulses, so does water. It has a temperature reading, so does everything else. So it travels lines of communication setting and track location. Right? Always travels. Set the sun's, moon's line rotation center and position of traction. Okay? So as soon as you touch it, it changes the frequencies. See? Change the frequency. Changes the correlations of the sun and the moon. Sets offline communication setting because it doesn't recognize your DNA. Sets off calculation setting. Sets course line channels. Ground line sets off lines. The air line sets off way off line rotation interference. Fire doesn't recognize timelines, high calculation setting, location, all level setting. And your position, your all calculation of grounds is way off line rotation surface. All through track location. Just by touching water. Okay? So I think we'll stop there. In that track location understanding, inline rotation, take you guys out of the equation. You guys are out. Hope you guys had fun. I know you're going to have a lot of questions on high center interference. We can continue that on Zoom. Adios. Beep, beep.